What scares you the most? Is it the fear of failure? Yes, we're talking about that gnawing sensation that keeps you up at night, that cold shiver running down your spine at the mere thought of not succeeding. But you're not alone on this ship. Because the fear of failure, my friends, is as universal as it gets. It's an unwelcome guest that knocks on everyone's door, be it a high school student stressing over exams, or a seasoned professional navigating the competitive corporate world. The fear of failure isn't always about life-altering events or monumental decisions. It's not just about deciding whether to propose to your partner, launch your own startup, or move to a different city. Sure, those are significant, but this fear also trickles down to the most mundane aspects of our lives. It could be as simple as hesitating to cook a new recipe, fearing it won't turn out right, or avoiding a new workout routine because you're scared you won't be able to keep up. And it's not just about the fear of not being able to achieve a specific goal. It's also about the repercussions of failure, the judgment, the disappointment, and the blow to our self-esteem. It's about the potential of being seen as a failure in the eyes of others, and worse, in our own eyes. But here's the thing, this fear, as paralyzing as it may seem, isn't necessarily a bad thing. It's a natural human response aimed at protecting us from potential harm or discomfort. It's our brain's way of saying, hey, I don't want you to get hurt. It's just that sometimes our brain gets a little too overprotective. So why do we fear failure? Is it because of societal pressures, or is it hardwired into our brains? Everyone has faced the fear of failure at some point, but what causes this fear? Let's delve deeper into the psychology behind the fear of failure in our next scene. Stay tuned. Understanding the psychology behind the fear of failure is the first step to overcoming it. Let's delve into the intricate web of our minds to uncover the roots of this fear. At its core, the fear of failure is often intertwined with issues of self-esteem and self-worth. When we tie our sense of worth to our successes, any potential failure can feel like a direct threat to our self-image. It's as if failing at a task or project means failing as a person, which is, of course, not true. But our minds can sometimes play tricks on us, blurring the lines between fact and fiction. Past experiences also play a significant role in shaping our fear of failure. Failures and traumatic experiences from our past can leave deep imprints on our psyche. These imprints can manifest as fear when we face similar situations in the future. For instance, if you've ever been publicly embarrassed or criticized for a mistake, you might hesitate to put yourself in a position where that could happen again. It's a protective mechanism, our mind's way of avoiding pain and discomfort. Then there are societal and parental expectations, the invisible forces that shape our perception of success and failure. From a young age, many of us are conditioned to believe that failure is not an option. We're taught to strive for perfection, to be the best, to win. And when we don't meet these high expectations, it can feel like we've let down not just ourselves but our family, our friends, our society. This pressure can amplify our fear of failure, making it seem larger and scarier than it truly is. So you see, the fear of failure is not just about the fear of not succeeding, it's a complex interplay of our self-esteem, past experiences, and societal expectations. It's about how we perceive ourselves and our place in the world. Now that we understand why we fear failure, it's time to learn how to overcome it. Overcoming the fear of failure isn't easy, but it's necessary for personal growth. It's a journey that requires courage, resilience, and a shift in perspective. The first strategy to conquer this fear is to change our mindset about failure. We've been conditioned to see failure as a negative outcome, as a symbol of defeat. But what if we started viewing it as an opportunity to learn, as a stepping stone on the path to success? By reframing failure as a necessary part of growth, we can start to see it not as something to be feared, but as something to be embraced. It's about understanding that every failure brings with it valuable lessons that can help us improve and grow. Next, let's talk about resilience and persistence. These are two qualities that are absolutely essential in overcoming the fear of failure. Resilience is the ability to bounce back from setbacks, to pick ourselves up after a fall and keep going. Persistence, on the other hand, is the determination to keep trying, no matter how many times we might fail. Together, these qualities can help us overcome our fear and continue striving towards our goals. And speaking of goals, it's important to set realistic ones. Part of the fear of failure comes from setting expectations that are too high. By setting achievable goals, we can create a positive feedback loop that encourages us to keep going. It's about setting ourselves up for success. rather than setting ourselves up for failure. Finally, remember to be kind to yourself. Overcoming fear is not about being perfect. It's about making progress, however small. Every step forward, no matter how small, is a victory. Celebrate these victories and use them as fuel to keep going. Remember, failure is not the end, it's just a stepping stone to success. So embrace your failures, learn from them, and keep moving forward. You're stronger than you think, and you have what it takes to overcome your fear of failure. Let's take a look at some real-life examples of people who overcame their fear of failure. One of the most inspiring examples comes from the world of literature. Imagine being rejected 12 times before finally getting a yes. That's the story of J.K. Rowling, the author of the Harry Potter series. She faced numerous rejections but did not let the fear of failure deter her. Instead, she used each rejection as a stepping stone, learning and growing from each one until she finally got a yes. Today, she's one of the most successful authors in the world. Another compelling example comes from the world of sports. Michael Jordan, one of the greatest basketball players of all time, once said, "I've missed more than 9,000 shots in my career. I've lost almost 300 games. 26 times I've been trusted to take the game-winning shot and missed. I've failed over and over and over again in my life, and that is why I succeed." His perspective on failure and his determination to overcome it propelled him to greatness. Let's also consider Thomas Edison, the brilliant inventor who famously said, "I have not failed, I've just found 10,000 ways that won't work." He viewed each so-called failure as an opportunity to learn something new, to refine his approach, and to keep going. His persistence led to the invention of the light bulb and many other groundbreaking innovations. These individuals from diverse walks of life shared a common trait. They did not fear failure. Instead, they embraced it, learned from it, and used it to fuel their success. They understood that failure is not the end, but a part of the journey towards success. In each of these stories, we see a shift in perspective, from viewing failure as a setback to seeing it as an opportunity for growth. These individuals didn't just overcome their fear of failure, they transformed it into a source of motivation and inspiration. As these examples show, overcoming fear of failure is possible and can lead to great success. In conclusion, fear of failure is a common but surmountable obstacle. It's an adversary we all face, yet it's an adversary we all have the power to overcome. And that's what we've been discussing throughout this journey. Let's take a moment to recap the key points we've covered. We began by understanding that the fear of failure is a universal experience. It's not just you, it's a part of the human condition. But while common, it's not an insurmountable obstacle. It's a roadblock, yes, but one that can be navigated. We delved into the psychology behind this fear, exploring how it's often rooted in early experiences or societal pressures. Yet understanding the origin of this fear is the first step in overcoming it. Knowledge, as they say, is power. Then, we talked about strategies for overcoming this fear. We discussed the importance of changing our perspective on failure, of seeing it not as a monster to be feared, but as a teacher to learn from. We considered the value of setting realistic goals, of embracing the journey rather than just the destination, and of understanding that it's okay to stumble along the way. We shared real-life examples of individuals who have faced and overcome their fear of failure. These stories serve as a beacon of hope and a testament to the power of resilience and determination. They show us that it's not about never failing, but about getting back up each time we do. In the end, the fear of failure is not just about fearing to fail. It's about fearing to try. It's about fearing the unknown, the uncertain. But remember, growth and comfort do not coexist. To grow, to succeed, we must step out of our comfort zones. We must dare to try, dare to fail, and dare to learn from our failures. So let's change our perspective on failure. Let's embrace it as a part of life, a part of the learning process. Let's see it not as an end, but as a beginning. Remember, the only true failure is not trying at all. So go out there and conquer your fears.